Hi, my name is Joseph Lai. I'm a solution architect in AWS. Today, I'm with Andrew from Ollion.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about Ollion.
Ollion is a global AWS Premier partner. We've been focusing primarily on cloud infrastructure, migrations, application modernization, data engineering, more recently Gen AI and machine learning, and of course modern managed services.
What would you like to share with our audience today?
So, as of earlier this year, Broadcom made the strategic decision to no longer allow AWS or AWS channel partners to resell VMware Cloud on AWS. In addition, on-prem VMware clients saw over 8,000 SKU product listings consolidate to just 4. While Broadcom has advertised the change as a simpler and easier way to understand contracting and transactional mechanisms, it has left many long-time VMware users with concerns that the upcoming renewals may come with considerable price increases. This change in go-to-market strategy has many long-term VMware organizations reevaluating and reconsidering their IT strategy moving forward.
I see. I can see that those are major shift for sure. But these changes could have a big impact on, budget and strategic planning for our customers. How are you seeing our customer responding to this? Are they exploring alternative or looking at ways to manage the cost more effectively?
You're absolutely right. These changes are pushing a lot of organizations to rethink their approach. For many of our clients, the uncertainty around cost and flexibility has been a real wake-up call, leading them to explore alternatives that allow for better control and predictability. In response to this, AWS has introduced several VMware-focused incentives as of October 1st. These new options integrate with the Migration Acceleration Program, commonly referred to as MAP, making it easier for clients to navigate their migration, modernization, and management journeys on AWS. With Ollion, we work closely with each other and with all of our clients, helping them leverage these incentives effectively and tailoring our approach to meet their unique needs.
So what are the main goals or the challenges our customer have when they first approach to Ollion about migrating off from VMware to AWS?
Great question. When engaging with Ollion here, we really like to understand the business drivers motivating an evaluation of AWS to move to AWS. Is it cost via licensing renewal update? Is it performance and scalability benefits? Is it the result of recent leadership changes, merger and acquisition effects, or just simply the ability to tap into the latest and greatest in Gen AI? All those components factor into why an organization may evaluate cloud for transformational business outcomes. Here at Ollion, we believe by coming to an agreement on the motivation for migration and modernization and allowing us to continually point back to it leads to much better outcomes. Ollion brings resources, both technical and business acumen, to assist and guide organizations through the entire transformational process.
It sounds like understanding those motivations really help, to tailor the migration journey for our customers. And once you have identified those key drivers, what does the next steps looks like for them to move forward with Ollion?
Glad you asked. Ollion brings forth solution architects and other business and technical subject matter experts to help scope a fully funded assessment where we evaluate a customer's VMware estate, including all relevant compute, database, and storage via client tooling. In addition, we request any licensing considerations from OEM vendors such as Microsoft and Oracle that may allow for modernization opportunities to open source or cloud-native architectures. The result of a VMware MAP assessment will provide a client with a data-backed total cost of ownership report and a migration readiness assessment. This effort will also inform proper migration methodology, commonly referred to as R factors, for client workloads, as well as identify any modernization to be undertaken during the migration itself. The deliverables as a result of this phase will help drive the scope of the next work stream in the overall migration modernization project. A full migration proposal will then be delivered to the client with their chosen components and work stream.
So I believe you are following AWS migration framework. And after this assessment, should we go ahead with mobilize phase?
Absolutely. As we transition into the mobilize phase, Ollion helps to create migration waves that align with both the client's ability to move inventory and the technical requirements of the workloads. VMware users may lack the skills, experience, and operating model to operate in a cloud-native environment where operational overhead tasks are now taken over by AWS. VMware users also need to understand how the AWS shared responsibility model shows security and configuration responsibility in several areas to Amazon itself, while allowing for customization within the AWS console based on client industry and business needs. Ollion really likes to take a do-it-with-me approach, along with dedicated AWS training, assisting client teams to adapt to this new operational model. In this phase, a workload migration plan is mutually agreed upon when considering factors such as a hardware end-of-life date, the VMware license renewal date, customers' availability, and just overall organizational prioritization. Organizations may also require the creation of a cloud center of excellence, where representatives from various units of the business come together to ensure an optimized operating model built for the cloud. In this phase, all foundational AWS infrastructure is designed and deployed that will account for security, governance, and future scaling needs of the AWS environment. This environment is custom built for the client, taking into account the various technical, business, and third-party integrations required and discovered.
Once the migration plan is in place, so what are the steps that you normally take to ensure minimum disruptions to their operations?
Our migration plan carefully considers factors like acceptable downtime and client availability. We also apply the R factor methodology towards application rationalization. So we assess each application to determine the best migration strategy based on complexity and time requirements. For instance, a lift and shift approach is generally faster than a complete replatforming.
That makes sense, especially when we are trying to balance the complexities and the times. So once the strategy is clear, what does the testing process look like?
We set up the infrastructure on the AWS side and conduct a test migration in an isolated environment. This allows us to check that everything functions as expected, so when it's time for the final cutover, we're confident in a smooth transition.
How do you handle the legacy workloads, which may require us to do the modernization as part of the migration?
Modernization is often done in parallel with the main migration waves. We handle any specific modernization needs, whether it's replatforming a database or updating a legacy application. After migration, we provide short-term support to confirm everything is operational, and our engineering services team is ready to manage the environment long-term.
Does Ollion have managed service offering for our customer after the migration?
Yes, we do. Ollion has actually matured its managed service offering called Ollion Demand to help clients become more agile and efficient as they embrace cloud native. It's important to know, operating in AWS compared to on-prem or VMC, it requires a very different perspective and mode of operations to ensure you aren't simply operating with a data center in the cloud approach. The days of simply monitoring, patching, backing up, or even just providing OS updates no longer delivers the long-term value that clients are looking for in a modern cloud environment. They require partners who provide ongoing architectural guidance, shift left on the development and deployment scale, and offer IAC as a standard operating procedure. AWS has actually stepped up as well by now offering a VMware managed incentive to organizations in the form of a $100 per migrated VMware VM to offset the cost of a long-term contract for MSPs like Ollion.
It is clear that migrating from VMOS to AWS is not just simple lift and shift migration. So any final thought, for our audience, if you want to share?
I would just strongly encourage those who are listening to reach out to us for a conversation before you make any hasty decisions that could lead to misconfigurations or uncontrolled costs when evaluating a VMware exit. We here at Ollion are here to assist you in every step of a successful migration.
Okay. How customer can reach out to Ollion if they require any migration needs?
I would suggest that you please go to ollion.com. On the website itself, you'll be able to fill out a contact us form, and a representative from Ollion will be reaching out to you in a timely manner.
Cool. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for watching us, and we will see you in the next.